Well, what is the Sanctuary Collection? That's probably a good place to start. Glenn? In this video, we're going to give you our definitive guide to everything in the Sanctuary Collection. We're talking cabins, we're talking food, we're talking the Sanctuary Club, and everything in between. Well, what is the Sanctuary Collection? That's probably a good place to start. Glenn?
It is the level of service that you receive depending on the cabins that you book. So right now you can book with Princess I believe the premium balcony, mini suite or cabana suite, or a full suite which has the Sanctuary Collection kind of tag to it, and then you will receive a certain number of perks over and above the regular cabins.
So in theory, you could book a standard cabin that's part of the Sanctuary Collection, and you get all of the benefits of being in, say, a full suite. Bar one.
You scan through the options for balcony cabins, and one of them will say Sanctuary Collection. There will be an upcharge per person per day, and you know that you then have those Sanctuary Collection privileges included in your cabin.
It's not a ship within a ship concept,
no,
but I think
it's halfway there.
It feels halfway there. We've experienced, I've said we felt like we're in a bit of a beta test on this sailing, but by the time you see this video, the Sanctuary Collection should have matured a little bit more. So we've got all the inside scoop, and all this information that we give you on this video will be valid for your 2025 cruise moving forward.
Who says inside scoop?
I don't know, I heard it on the telly.
Yeah, in about 1978. I mean, what?
Are we going to make another Dynasty reference? Because I think it's about time that we bring a little bit of Alexis Carrington into our lives.
How ominous.
Would she stay in this suite?
I'm not sure if Alexis Carrington would have gone on a mainstream cruise line, really. She would have had a private yacht, surely.
And frankly, darling, I don't give a damn.
Anyway, let's talk about what you actually get then. So the biggie is the Sanctuary Club. Essentially, it is a private area with a very nice pool, a couple of hot tubs. There are plenty of staff around to bring you drinks. And also they do things like bento boxes, which are just like a nice little light lunch as well that they'll bring round. And it's a really elevated experience. The actual sun loungers are like mattresses. They're really thick and fluffy and soft, and yeah, it's a really nice area to be in.
The service is fantastic as well. All the guys up there look after you. If you have Leo looking after you up there, tell him we said hi.
Yep.
Great guy. But all of the staff up on that 18th deck are really good. They'll look after you the whole time you're there. I've really enjoyed my time in that in the Sanctuary Club.
Yeah, on this sailing we actually were going from Barcelona back to Southampton, so for the first kind of 50% of the cruise we were up there every single day and getting as much of the sun as we could. Now when we say you get as much of the sun as you could, you will get a lot of sun because the shady areas are few and far between. You can get a cabana. The upcharge varies from sailing to sailing. On this sailing, they were $500 per day, which again is a bit too rich for my blood. I personally don't see the point in them because I think the space itself is extraordinary. But on the aft of the ship, there are some like day beds, some bigger ones that are in the shade. They're covered over as well. So what I would say is if you're going to get one of those, you just want to get there early because they're probably going to be prime, I think, particularly on sea days in good weather. There is an elevator that goes straight from the 8th deck, which is where the wake bar is. Also, that's where the smoking area is, if any of you are smokers, and that goes straight up to 18 as well. So it's a nice little shortcut as if you want to go down to deck 8 or 9, which is where the main dining room is as well.
And there's a full service bar on that deck, and you can still order from your medallion. So the ocean delivery service delivers up there. So if you don't want the bento boxes that are unique to that area and you don't want to use that bar for whatever reason, you can still order through your medallion and have it delivered direct to your sun lounger.
I would recommend just cappuccino in the morning with a large Baileys. Just tip that inside. Very, very nice.
And one tip, the restrooms there are a little bit odd because you have to kind of wave your hand in front of these. There's two switches. One is to open and close the door, and one is to lock it, I think. And you have to make sure the lock one has gone red, because the distance between the door and the actual toilet is probably 7 or 8 paces. So if you've settled yourself down to, you know, take care of business and the door starts to open, you are never going to get to it to shut it in time. So please make sure that it's locked properly.
How do you know that so well, Glenn?
I do know that.
You can imagine what your first day in the sanctuary was like.
But very nice area. And if you are staying in a cabin that has that as one of the perks, enjoy it.
It's a great perk to have. I think if you're in a sanctuary, in one of the sanctuary cabins, you're going to be up there the majority of the time. Also, you have the lounge.
The lounge is the only perk which is not available to the lower cabins. It's only available if you have a full suite.
Okay, that's on deck 15 and 16 because it's on over 2 levels. It is a beautiful space. And it has the most incredible bone china as well.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, Google. One of those mugs is £110.
A mug?
A mug.
It was a...
Am I not saying mug?
It was a teacup and saucer. It is not a mug. It has like gold-leafed handle. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm sure they've all got tags on them, so you can't swipe one.
I wonder if anyone's tried just kind of lifting it and I'm taking this back to my cabin.
The lounge is also where you'll find your concierge as well. So any kind of changes you want to make to bookings, or if you've got any questions about your bill or anything like that, that's where you go and you'll be dealt with by one of the concierges there. And there's also a breakfast bar, which has things like just little pastries and things in the mornings, and light bites, and a full service bar there as well.
Yeah, full service bar. They have a cappuccino machine there, which makes really good coffees. We've had those quite a few times. You can either drink in there or they'll do them to go. So
inside your cabin itself, now we have done a full cabin tour of this specific grand suite, which is cabin 10231. I'll link to that at the end of the video if you want all the intimate details of the space itself for this cabin type, and I'm sure there are going to be lots of others on YouTube for the other cabin types. But let's talk about the additional perks that you get as a sanctuary.
TLDR, I've just found out what that means. It is one of the nicest cabins we've ever stayed in.
It is the nicest cabin we've ever stayed in. One of the other perks you have of being a member of the sanctuary is you get access to fitness classes. Yes, you can do a spinning class and not feel guilty for having that extra cake. People actually do go to spinning classes. I've used the gym a few times on this sailing as well. I didn't go to any of the classes because spinning frightens me, but you do get access to the classes as part of your package. So
it's the Premier package,
which is the Premier package. And if you're in a full suite, you get the Premier package.
Correct.
Do you get it if you're in the Sanctuary collection and you're not in a full suite?
All the Sanctuary cabins come with Premier package. If you're in a regular cabin and you don't have the Premier package, then you would have to pay for the classes. Right. But you may also upgrade to the Premier package and then the classes would be included.
If you're in the Sanctuary collection of cabins, you get the Premier package, which gives you unlimited specialty dining. It gives you unlimited drinks up to the value of $20 per drink, 25% off a bottle of wine, but why would you do that when you can just get it by the glass? And fitness classes, along with loads of other little perks. In fact, why don't we list them right here?
Is this above my face again?
No, it's to the right of me. I had to go like that. I don't mind my left from right these days. So if you're in a grand suite in the Sanctuary collection, a full suite, then you would get free laundry.
Other suite types are available.
Other suite types are available. But this is the best.
Well, it's not. Sky Suite's the best, really.
Have you seen a Sky Suite?
I've not been in a Sky Suite, no.
I've not.
They're 2 bedrooms and excessively expensive, but Very nice if you can afford one, I guess.
Yeah.
Perks that I love about staying in a full suite inside the Sanctuary Collection. Well, our biggest perk that we've really taken full advantage of is the free laundry. So they do have laundromats on board the ship, as you're probably aware. The ones on this ship are very small, though, compared to other
there's
Princess
only
ships.
3 machines in them, but they all have irons and things.
No, 2. There's 2 washers, 2 dryers.
2 washers, 2 dryers. Oh,
And 1 ironing board. So every time we've been past,
it's been busy.
it's been busy. The machines are going constantly. If, however, you're in a full suite, you get as much laundry done for you as you can possibly come up with, and we've probably done
every
other day. I would say we filled up a bag.
Yeah. The thing is, right? I mean, we're not taking the mick, but if you know you're going to be in a full suite and you're aware that you're going to get free laundry and you'll get a bag every day, I would also note, if you note on there that you want things to be washed at a cooler wash, we do it per bag. I wouldn't list it per item because chances are they may not be able to give you that. We've just said, can you do it at 40? And everything's come back and it's fine. In fact, this came back this morning, this t-shirt I'm wearing right now.
Yeah, I remember doing some laundry on NCL once and everything came back looking like it was a child size. It's a really decent service and yeah, it means you can travel lighter than you would do normally.
And that's exactly what I was saying. I brought probably I would say 2/3 of what I would normally bring, knowing I was able to wash clothes.
Another good perk is the one-time minibar setup.
Yes.
So even if you're in the Premier package and you have unlimited drinks, etc., although this is only one time, so as you drink them, they're not actually replenished. The only thing that is replenished is your water. So we've been getting
between 2 and 4 bottles of water a day, depending on what's left on the side.
If you drink it all, I'm sure they restock the whole thing. So there's always a couple in the fridge and then at least 2 or 3 bottles outside. So you will never be short of water in your cabin either. And the third perk that I really like is the sweet breakfast that you get delivered to your cabin. So if you're in a regular cabin, you may have regular breakfast delivered to your cabin. This is quite a limited choice. I did sneak a look at somebody's just further down the corridor.
So nosy.
They had it on their door the other night, and I just had a quick look at what was available. Okay, in this full suite, you get a much larger variety of food that you can choose for your breakfast.
Yeah.
So we did it on the first morning or second morning.
Yeah, I didn't have any because I wasn't too hungry because I'd had a big meal the night before. But I think you had the princess muffin. Did you say you had?
It was very good. It had some Danish.
I had a coffee actually, pot of coffee. Because sometimes you might not want a breakfast, but you might just want a big pot of fresh coffee because you do have a coffee machine in the room, which is nice, like Lavazza coffee, but sometimes you just want a big mug of coffee rather than a little coffee. I'm not functional until I've had at least 3 coffees. Okay, let's talk about the Sanctuary restaurant.
Yes.
Does it have an exclusive menu, Glenn?
I believe not, Ant.
No, from my understanding, it's the same menu as what you get in the main dining room. You're just seating in a slightly nicer place.
Yeah, I think so. I was really looking forward to this perk because every other Princess ship I've been on, where I have stayed in a suite, the one dining kind of privilege you get is a sit-down breakfast in one of the specialty restaurants, which is very nice.
Yeah.
But
they do that with Chops Grill on Royal Caribbean.
Yeah, some other ships do. But I've always enjoyed that. But the thing I really was looking forward to here was to have a fully dedicated restaurant. So I was thinking, Coastal Kitchen comes to Princess, about time. And then I was a little bit disappointed when I started reading other people's reviews from earlier in this inaugural season saying, actually, it is just the main dining room menu, pretty much. There might be 1 or 2 extra options on there, but it's pretty much the same. So I was kind of disappointed because I really wanted that unique, options. We didn't get it, but having said that, the few times that we have eaten in there, we've had breakfast a couple of times. I think we've had lunch in there as well. The only reason we haven't had dinner is because we've had the specialty dining which comes with the Premier package. But you know what? The food we've had in there, if that is main dining room food, I thought was pretty good.
I mean, yeah, I thought it was good. I did think it was pretty good. I think when I kind of think about my comparison, my frame of reference is obviously Coastal Kitchen, and Coastal Kitchen is like an elevated specialty restaurant in its own right because of the quality of the food is substantially better than what you'd get in the main dining room on Royal. So when I think about what we're doing in Princess here, Princess are trying to emulate that kind of elevated retreat haven kind of thing. They're moving towards that exclusivity. To not have a menu that is set different, nor to have something that tastes more elevated than anything else. Now that can either, I don't know if that's a positive or negative as I'm saying it, because the food on this ship is outstanding. Like, I can't complain about the quality of the food, specialty or otherwise. In fact, on something like Royal Caribbean, the difference between like the included dining options and the specialty dining is the gap is significant. It's noticeable, but it's not so noticeable on Princess. Now, I don't know if that is a good thing or a bad thing. Does it devalue there's a debate there, does it devalue specialty dining or not? But for me, the food is so good, it's just the environment in which you consume that food that you have, which is slightly different. It's like, I feel like I'm clutching at straws, do you know what I mean?
You are.
Before we go on to who we think this Sanctuary collection is for, is there anything else that that we haven't covered?
If you got a Sanctuary collection cabin, I think by far the best single perk is the Premier package being included.
From a financial perspective,
we've really enjoyed the benefits of having the Premier package. You have things like the seating in the arena for production shows only. So if you're going to the arena to see, I don't know, like a visiting artist, there won't be a section for you to sit in. But if it's a full Princess production show, there are reserved seating for Premier package guests. So that's a nice little perk as well.
I think as well with the concierge, when you go on the app and things book out and all of this, they can pull some strings. They're very good at getting you into places. If it doesn't seem to be available, they'll bend over backwards for you. So
yeah, I mean we had that, didn't we? Because we had, before we came on board, we booked our specialty dining restaurants, and there were a couple that either we weren't happy with the time, or it was on the wrong night, etc. But literally, there was nothing left.
Exactly.
We come on board, and as soon as you have access to that concierge in the lounge, they fixed it. They gave us everything we wanted to. So they were certainly able to prioritise our requests. So that, again, that's a nice little perk about being in that in a full suite in the Sanctuary collection.
I have a question for you, Glenn, right? So we've experienced the Haven on NCL. Unfortunately, it's long before we ever did the YouTube thing. So I think we might have to do it again just so we can film it. And there's obviously the Retreat and the Yacht Club. Now, these are ship within a ship concepts. Now, we mentioned at the beginning of this video that we felt that the Sanctuary collection felt like it was trying to move towards that concept. Now, if you're a customer who's been in, say, the Haven or the Retreat, do you think that the Sanctuary collection is a comparable experience?
No.
Thanks for watching. Okay, let's expand on that point. What does Princess need to do to be able to elevate it to that kind of level, do you think?
Well, the reason I enjoyed the Haven on NCL is because all of the components of the Haven are in the same geographical area. You have the Haven restaurant, you have the Haven lounge bar, whatever you call it, you have the Haven pool, pool deck, and it's all kind of isolated from the rest of the ship. And from what I understand, the concept of the Yacht Club on MSC is the same. We'll be able to tell you firsthand early next year when we do our first Yacht Club experience. But again, I think the key thing for me is all of those components have to be together, like physically together. On this ship, the components are there. You have
all over the place.
the Sanctuary collection outdoor pool area. You have the restaurant. If you're in a full
You've
suite,
even got
you
the
have
lift
the
that
lounge.
takes you between the lounge
Yeah.
and the thing.
But again, that's open to everybody on the ship. That's not
Fair.
exclusive
Yeah,
to.
on NCL, on the Epic, when we did that, your key card was the only card that could use that lift. So it wasn't open to everybody.
So I think unless you're going to design this Sanctuary Collection area in one geographical place, it's never going to feel like a ship within a ship, because you are wandering around to get from the lounge to the restaurant and up to the sun deck and what have you. So for me, that doesn't work. So in answer to your question, no, I don't think they have it the same way that Celebrity does with the Retreat, or NCL does with the Haven, or MSC does with the Yacht Club. Even Royal now on the Wonder Utopia, the Icon, have these components all together.
Sweet neighbourhood, yeah.
So they've kind of gone a step further. I think Princess are falling behind. But to be fair, Princess's full suite, whatever it's called on the other ships, the experience there has never been as good as suite experience on other lines. It just isn't.
Yeah.
You know, on a lot of the old ships, there's no concierge lounge or anything. So they don't really support that kind of experience, or they haven't. But it's clear that they're getting there.
Yeah.
And I think in their next iteration, I don't know what the Star Princess will be like, or the next one after that. I think eventually they will get to the point where everything is together, and as a Sanctuary Collection suite guest, you will feel that you have everything you need
In a
in
stone's
one
throw,
area, and you
all
don't
together.
have to go anywhere else if you don't
Yeah.
want to.
I agree. I like where they're going with it. I love the aesthetic of it all. I think the service is impeccable. We've talked at length about the food. And I think the Sanctuary Collection is a step in the right direction. And in a couple of years' time, when more ships come out and if Princess do choose to really evolve this into a ship within a ship concept, this could be something very, very special, and it would appeal to those who like to have that elevated suite experience. Again, I can't wait. We're doing Yacht Club in early 2025. So if you're not subscribed, then please hit the subscribe button, because that video series is going to be great, and we're doing a back-to-back. So there's going to be a lot of content from our experiences on Yacht Club, and a lot of comparisons to our previous suite experiences as well. But if you are tempted by the Sanctuary Collection, but you want to know what this room was like, because this is a grand suite, and it is probably the nicest suite we've ever stayed in. Just click on this link right here, right on Glenn's beautiful face, and we're going to give you a very detailed and in-depth tour and review of this suite, both in the daytime and at night. So head on over there, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and we'll see you on the next one.